A second chance. Mr. Nelson, we are going live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The cameraman showed a thumbs up sign. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is John Nelson welcoming you all to a brand new episode of The Child Stars. As you all know, our show introduces you children who at their very young age have exhibited remarkable skills in different walks of life. Let's meet our guest for today, Master Vaishnav. There was a loud cheer from the crowd watching the live show. Vaishnav felt uneasy with all the attention and tried to force a smile. Mr. Nelson took a couch next to Vaishnav with a wide, comforting smile on his face. "Good evening, Vaishnav," he wished. "Good evening, Mr. Nelson," Vaishnav wished back. "You're looking very handsome in that suit of yours," said Mr. Nelson. "Thank you very much," replied Vaishnav, slightly blushing in his newly tailored suit made just for the occasion. "Okay, so let's get you comfortable, Vaishnav. You can relax. They're all our friends," said Mr. Nelson, waving at the audience. Vaishnav tried hard, yet he couldn't sit at ease with all eyes staring at him. "Let's start with an easy question then," said Mr. Nelson. "How old are you, Vaishnav?" "I'm 16, he answered, confidence slightly building up. That was easy, thought Vaishnav, feeling better. "So, Vaishnav, what were your favorite cartoon characters when you were small?" asked Mr. Nelson. I liked Winnie the Pooh, Tom and Jerry, and Pink Panther," answered Vaishnav, excited, now much more comfortable, and continued. "It doesn't matter how old I get, I still enjoy watching them." Mr. Nelson laughed. Yes, it is certainly true. I myself watch Tom and Jerry with my kids, and trust me, you can hear me laugh louder than my kids whenever Tom falls for Jerry's tricks." The crowd let out short giggles. "So, Vaishnav, what is the name of your venture and how did you initiate it?" Vaishnav, now much more relaxed and comfortable, started explaining. "I was new to the place. We had shifted from our native land. I did not have many friends in my locality, being a newcomer. I was just sitting by a bus stop when a lady ran with a tiffin in her hand, chasing the bus. She turned to me and asked, 'Aren't you with the family that recently moved in?' 'Yes, Auntie,' I answered. 'Dear, here is the money to catch a bus, and here is the tiffin. Could you please take it to my husband's office?' asked the lady. Having nothing much to do, I quickly volunteered. She gave me the office location and details of her husband. When I delivered the tiffin to her husband, I heard the man sitting next to him say, 'How I wish I could have some homemade food too.' A thought struck me. I had heard of dabbawalas in Mumbai, and I thought, why not give it a try here? I returned to the lady's house who had entrusted me with the task and asked, 'Auntie, can you prepare an extra meal tomorrow? You shall get paid for it.' The lady's eyes twinkled. 'Wow, extra pocket money? Not a bad idea. Sure, I shall do it,' she volunteered. I returned her the balance from the bus charge, but she refused and said, 'That's yours. You can go have ice creams and chocolates, dear.' And so it started with one person, and now we cater to over 2,500 individuals with homemade food. Since recently people have turned out to be quite health conscious and knew the lurking danger behind taking daily hotel cooked meals, it was not difficult for me to find potential customers. My service spread through word of mouth recommendation. It was even easier to get household moms into action, as all they had to do was prepare a little more to their daily cooking, and in turn they earned their little pocket money without having to leave the comfort of their homes. "That's really great," said Mr. Nelson. "So the concept was already put into practice elsewhere and you introduced it to your place. Yes, Mr. Nelson. What do you call it? Asked Mr. Nelson. Mother's touch, answered Vaishnav and continued. A mother's touch always adds taste to the food. It may be just a dal curry, but when your mother makes it, it gets a special taste, a taste which you fail to get from hotel food. True, very true, replied Mr. Nelson. So, how long have Mother's Touch been running and how do you handle these large number of requirements? We are just 4 months old. We have an app under our name on which the pickup and droppings are recorded. My sister handles that. She has a taste for it, and I'm quite illiterate when it comes to technical matters, said Vaishnav. He paused a moment and asked Mr. Nelson if he could take a sip of water from the bottle that was placed next to him. Sure, please help yourself, said Mr. Nelson. Mr. Nelson started admiring Vaishnav for the hard work and smart work he has taken to build up the venture. As for the delivery, continued Vaishnav after having taken his sip of water, initially, I recruited a few friends I met when I stayed at the juvenile home. There was a moment of silence in the whole set. Mr. Nelson sat on his couch, staring at Vaishnav, holding his breath. I'm sorry, I didn't get you, said Mr. Nelson, slightly shaking his head. Sorry, Mr. Nelson, I may not be the right person who deserves such an accolade, said Vaishnav. Mr. Nelson was speechless. Vaishnav continued. I was sent to the juvenile home for a crime of theft. A crime I certainly regret having done, and if I had any power within me to reverse that particular day, that particular moment, I would have done so. Though it was done to feed my starving mother and sister, in the process a man got severely hurt. He got hit by a bike as he was chasing me. I was caught in the act. I served for a year at the juvenile home. I met few kids there who, like me, wished to get a second chance in life and not be labeled as thieves and crooks for the rest of their lives. We left our native land after my release as it was hard to stay with the cloud of social stigma over us. Nobody knew me at the new place, so I headed for a fresh start. My delivery agents are kids and men who have been cast away by society. I got a second chance to prove myself, so I thought, why not give them? Mr. Nelson sat back on his couch, looking at the little boy in awe and wonder. He didn't say a word. He slowly stood up and clapped with all his heart. The audience, off-screen crew, and technicians followed. This was not exactly what I had in mind, thought Vaishnav. As the standing ovation died down, Mr. Nelson finally spoke. Vaishnav, you are a wonderful child. You could have kept the fact in hiding, yet you spoke of it. You also spoke about a fact. As a society, we turn a blind eye on. Ladies and gentlemen, do you agree in giving a second chance to the little kids out there and letting them be better human beings? There was a loud roar of applause. Vaishnav's eyes filled with tears of joy. The acceptance he and his friends received, that was priceless. The show came to an end with a lot of appreciation. The lights were out, but for Vaishnav, an even brighter future lay ahead.